The Tiger-side Asian Boyz, also known as T-Side, was formed in 2017 when the Reccless Tigers and the Westside Asian Boyz merged. In one of my past videos I made about the Reccless Tigers, I covered the federal indictment that involved the murder of Brandon White, a 43rd Street gang member that ran up a drug debt with the Tiger-side Asian Boyz and ended up losing his life. That full video will be linked in the description below. After I dropped my first video on the Tiger-side Asian Boyz, I got in touch with the people directly involved with the murder of Brandon White. And thanks to their help, I managed to get my hands on some handwritten letters written by the leader of the Tiger-side Asian Boyz himself. What I didn't talk about in the first video was how this same leader chose to cooperate with the authorities in exchange for a reduced sentence. This same individual also tried to frame somebody else as the founder of the Tiger-side Asian Boyz, but we'll touch more on that later. Out of the 40-man indictment, only 15 were gang members, and out of those 15, 4 snitched, including the leader of the Tiger-side Asian Boyz, who is currently sitting in protective custody. But before we get into the video, don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you want to ever make some video ideas. I also have a Discord server where you guys can also drop some video suggestions, because to be honest, my Instagram DMs were getting kind of crazy. Also, I have a PO box address, and if you guys want to send me something, message me on IG for that PO box address. And while we're on the topic, I actually have this awesome package from one of my supporters / viewers. This is actually a long time coming, because I was supposed to do this before I took my break, but we're still doing it. We're here, the package is here. Boom. Shout out to Tamer's Jerky. I actually already ate 3 bags of these, and this was the one that I had to have him send me an extra one, because he sent me a variety pack and they were so good that I ended up eating them all. And I was like, hey bro, I kind of ate all the beef jerky. Then you can send me some more. But big shout out to Kamai. He hooked me up with some jerky. This is actually his company. I'll have it linked in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into it. After the group of gang members went down for the murder of Brandon White, the Tiger-side Asian Boyz was disbanded due to most of their members going down for this federal indictment. Out of the group that went down, one person would play a key role in the investigation: Richard Pak, the founder of the Reccless Tigers. Richard was a member of a local Korean gang called Korean Dragon Crew back in 2007, but he wanted to start his own thing, and that's when he founded the Reccless Tigers. Joseph Lamborn, also known as Trigga, was the first official member of the Reccless Tigers, and after recruiting Trigga, they continued to recruit members from all ethnic backgrounds. As the Reccless Tigers grew, other smaller gangs started to merge with them, such as SOG. SOG was started by a man named Cinco. Cinco was originally a member of another gang called Asian Dragon Family, also known as ADF. Cinco had an uncle who was also from ADF, and his uncle was killed by other members from ADF due to internal conflict, which played a huge role on why Cinco decided to break away and start SOG in the first place. After Cinco merged with the Reccless Tigers, he carried his beef with ADF with him, which caused friction between the Reccless Tigers and the Asian Dragon family. This friction resulted in multiple fights and eventually led to a shooting that took place at Aura Bar located in Annandale, when ADF and TRG got into a fight with the Reccless Tigers. But the Reccless Tigers continued to grow, and it wouldn't be long before they got linked up with the reputable homie from the Westside Asian Boyz who went by T. T was well connected. Born in Orange County, T was heavily involved in the cannabis industry and was also the owner of the grow operation in Hayfork, California, mentioned in my previous video. T was also involved in the music industry. Him will own a record label called On The Run. Stoopy Young and MB Nell were the first artists to get signed to this record label, and he wanted to sign Trigga as well, but Trigga was way too busy in the streets. With the help from T, the Reccless Tigers merged with the Westside Asian Boyz, forming the Tiger-side Asian Boyz in 2017. T also helped Tiger-side become one of the biggest cannabis distributors in Virginia due to their grow operation in California. I mentioned earlier that Richard Pak, also known as Teddy, tried to frame somebody else as the founder of the Tiger-side Asian Boyz, and that person he was trying to frame was T. But the betrayal doesn't end there. When the first group of gang members got taken into custody for the murder of Brandon White, Teddy was not brought into custody because he had no involvement with the murder. The feds couldn't get the murder charge to stick, so they decided to bring in other people on unrelated drug charges and that's how they got Teddy into custody. The feds threatened Teddy and told him that he was facing over 10 years. And that's when Teddy and his younger brother decided to cooperate with the authorities in exchange for a reduced sentence. The feds promised Teddy some sort of immunity, and with Teddy's cooperation, it gave the feds enough evidence to get the murder charge to stick, which ultimately gave 3 of his homies life without the possibility of parole. On top of all this, there was a bunch of shady shit going down between Teddy and his lawyers, and I have to give a huge shout out to T for helping me get this letter that was written by Teddy himself that has a bunch of scandalous shit going on, and we're gonna go through it together. So I'm just going to read this letter, but I'm not gonna read the entire thing because this video would literally turn into a 30-minute video. But anytime you see a blank, it's basically where he's addressing his lawyer. So, Mr. Lawyer gave me drugs and Xanax prior to my court proceeding of a plea reading and acceptance. Prior to this hearing, I was informed 3 separate times that I was receiving full immunity for my statements and testimony. I asked for clarity of the plea wording and was told, "Don't worry, trust me." Then given drugs. The drug exchange was captured on CD recordings, which I possess, meaning Teddy's lawyers were giving him drugs in order to make it easier for him to falsify statements, and Teddy actually has video evidence that his lawyers were giving him drugs while he was incarcerated. If that ain't scandalous, I don't know what is. And then if we continue here, it says, "In reality, I received no real immunity and can be further indicted in several other districts," meaning all this snitching that he did got him no time off. So all this shit was in vain. And in this next letter, it seems that this was written by Teddy directed towards the judge. "Since first hiring my lawyers, I have been instructed and intimidated into doing many inappropriate things whenever questioned or hesitate. I was told they were necessary and expected. I have been repeatedly given and instructed when to take them. I was also told that everyone did this and it was for my own good." Long story short, they were giving him drugs and they were trying to convince Teddy to make falsified statements. If that ain't scandalous, I don't know what is. Teddy was supposed to testify in court against T, but T had some crucial evidence, like this letter, that proved to the court that he wasn't the founder of the Reccless Tigers. And because of all the evidence that T possessed, it pretty much prevented Teddy from taking the stand in trial. Our homie T was barred from presenting crucial evidence that could have shown there was some prosecutorial, I can never say that word, prosecutorial misconduct from the DA's side. So T actually ended up sending me a letter where he details all of his grievances towards the court, and he wanted me to go over them in this video so it could act as his voice. So this letter was written by T, and he actually sent it to me in the mail. In this first paragraph right here, it says, "Judge Liam O'Grady was retiring and this was his last case tried. And apparently the judge that was trying this case was very good friends with the prosecutor or the DA, which is never a good thing. This is the list of all the motions that T was denied. So the first motion was denied motion to severance from my co-defendants because murder is undeniably greater than my charges. Denied motion to dismiss case based off speedy trial violation. The law is 70 days within indictment and it was around 100 days till they tried me. So for anybody not familiar with what a speedy trial is, it's basically one of your rights to request a speedy trial, and that means they have to get you in a court date within a specific amount of days. Now it might be different between each state, but basically they violated his speedy trial rights. They rejected my request for change of venue because the 1,000 plants part of my drug conspiracy is in the District of California. So the fact that they denied his request for change of venue could have played a detrimental role in his case, because T ended up getting 26 years for the marijuana plants, but he was charged in Virginia, but the plants were in California. So wouldn't it make sense to charge somebody for plants that they owned in the state that they actually exist in? But they denied his motion to request for a change of venue, which probably could have played a big role in his case. He was also rejected from entering in evidence that the weed farm was completely legal, so that grow operation in Hayfork was a completely legal grow-op. Rejected from entering handwritten notes from Richard Pack on prosecutor and his lawyer guiding him to make false statements, and it corroborates with the video of his lawyer Matthew Von Franken giving him drugs to go along with it. Do I really need to say more? Teddy's lawyers were giving him drugs so it would make it easier for him to lie in court and make falsified statements. Now, if we move on from the letter, these are some of the prosecutorial misconducts T experienced. Prosecutorial misconducts by James Trump. Coerced witnesses, apparently he's got proof of that. Selective prosecution, about half a dozen other alleged participants freeing the world, but they selected him. Withheld discovery till 1 week before trial to hinder defense. Now, if anybody doesn't know what a discovery is, it's basically when you request your discovery, the court has to provide you all the evidence they have against you. But I guess they withheld that, which it seems like they're playing pretty dirty, right? So on top of withholding the discovery, they falsified evidence, chopped it up, impartial evidence to trick the jury, and a bunch of other shit. It says, at sentencing, they gave me leader role, although they did not have any sufficient evidence of me directing any criminal activity. Now, if there are any lawyers that watch my videos, and I highly doubt there is, if anybody can help me break down some of these motions and try to see if we could speed up the appeal process for T, it would be a W in my book. Because to be honest, if my humble little YouTube channel can serve as a voice for a community, I'll take that as a W. So 4 people ultimately went to trial, including T. Everybody was convicted of the murder except T. He was acquitted because he had no involvement in it. But the court decided to give T 26 years for the marijuana charges anyway. Now, does that sound right to you at all? I mentioned earlier that this case pretty much disbanded the Tiger-side Asian Boyz because this indictment literally locked up 80% of all the members. When I initially made this video, I had no idea how deep this story actually went. And after getting to speak with a couple members, I felt compelled to make this video. And there was no way I wasn't with all this evidence they threw my way. I got the chance to speak to both T and Trigga, and I learned that Trigga was very close to Teddy while they were on the streets, so I can only imagine the betrayal that he felt when he found out that Teddy was making up all this shit and throwing everybody under the bus. And I think the craziest part of this entire story is Teddy's lawyers giving him drugs and falsifying evidence to make their case stronger against the Tiger-side Asian Boyz. And mind you, Brandon White, the dude that was murdered, was a gang member that took product on credit from the Tiger-side Asian Boyz, ran off with this shit, got beat up for it, and then he decided to snitch on them because he got beat up, got killed, and now this whole nightmare of a situation has come of it. What I'm trying to say is I have a hard time finding sympathy for Brandon White because he knew what he was signing up for. He took it on credit and ran off with it. Like, what do you expect? But the fact that T got 26 years over some weed is some bullshit. And it's crazy to think about how much talent is going to be locked away behind those bars. I actually got to record some music for Trigga, and I'm going to play a couple of his songs, real quick short clips at the end of the video, because I wanted to showcase how much talent this man has. And it's just sad that a lot of these people might not ever come home or ever see a recording studio ever. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave something in the comment sections. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. But until next time, I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace. Alright, it is going now.
Alright. This one's called Gone for a Minute. I just told my girl on the phone, it's gonna be a while till a nigga come home. I told her move on with her life, let me go. I'm sorry I hurt her. Yeah, now I ain't playing, baby, look in my face. Got all these niggas trying to jump on my case. Now I got a nigga pointing fingers my way, calling me a murderer. I'm gonna be gone for a minute, but don't cry, baby, this is the wrong time. I need you to be strong while I'm in here, even if I might be gone for a long time. I know you feel my pain through the phone. Don't cry, baby, this is the wrong time. I need you to stand for my own. Yeah, I might be gone for a long time. Yeah, street nigga, I be doing my thing. Everybody know I slide shit for my gang. The people trying to keep me in these motherfucking chains till the day that I die. Oh, they know I'll do anything for my brother. even if it separated me from my mother. Got me so blown, my mother can't even look me in my eyes. Cause I'ma be gone for a minute. Don't cry, baby, this is one time. Need you to be strong while I'm in here, even if I might be gone for a long time. I know you feel my pain through the phone. Don't cry, baby, this is one time. I need to do this thing on my own. Yeah, I might be gone for a long time. Yeah, and I don't know if I'm ever going home. The pussy niggas told I ain't never gonna fold. How many days have I been in this hole? I really don't know. Cause I really don't know if I'm ever going home. And pussy niggas told I ain't never gonna fold. How many days have I've been in this hole? But I'ma be gone for a minute. But don't cry, baby, this is one time. I need you to be strong while I'm in here, even if I might be gone for a long time. I know you feel my pain through the phone. Don't cry, baby, this is one time. I need to do this thing on my own. Yeah, I might be gone for a long time.